Hi, welcome to Tales with Sense. This is the first episode of the original series, and here I will be telling you the tale of the train and the rainbow. This is an original story written by me, and I'm not exactly reading this for you. I'm gonna tell this story as if it was a real story. So I hope you enjoy it and that you like it. It all started on a morning that Clotilde would never forget. She woke up with this feeling, the kind of like something's off, even before you open your eyes, like this thing of, okay, what is going on? What is going on? And this is what happened to Clotilde. She woke up and she realized that it was late. She had to go somewhere and the time was running, so she glanced at the lamp next to her in bed, shook it, and it woke up too. And this lamp was Anna, who was her daughter. She groaned and she was like, "Oh, Mom, what happened?" And Clotilde was like, "It's late." She was already throwing the covers off. She was like, come on, get up, get up." Anna got up, of course, because she knew they were late to somewhere. They had to go somewhere. So minutes later, they were in the elevator. They got ready very fast. They were heading to the lobby. Clotilde kept checking her watch. Anna was like looking everywhere and she was like, "Oh, Mom, what about breakfast?" Clotilde said, "At the airport. We will have breakfast at the airport. We have to run." And there's no time. They barely made it to their flight. Actually couldn't have breakfast at the airport because they arrived just on time. They were running on the street, they ran everywhere, they ran at the airport, and they just made it on time to the gate. But they made it. That was it. They were able to leave. They were going to England, from Costa Rica to England. And as I told you, they couldn't have breakfast, so they had to be content with the with the lunch that the airline gave them. They made it to London, and after they arrived, of course, they went to the migration process. They checked their visas and stuff. After that, they went to pick up their luggage, and that's when they realized that they'd forgotten their suitcases. They forgot everything. They didn't bring anything to this trip. So basically, they had to go out and spend the whole afternoon buying clothes, toiletries, and just enough to get by. And while they were doing this, they were shopping. They were kind of happy because okay, they at least they brought their money and also like the basic stuff, their documents and everything, but they forgot the suitcases. They were in such a hurry when they left their apartment that yeah, they didn't think about it. While they were shopping and they were looking in the street, Clotilde, almost absent-mindedly, she said, "Oh, I've always wanted to see France." And Anna, who was paying attention to her mother, because Clotilde was the one that was a little bit distracted, but Anna was paying attention to her mom. She just was like, "Okay, if we hurry, we may be able to catch a train to Paris." And Clotilde was like, "Huh? A train? From here? But wait, isn't England, like the UK, an island? Like they're separate from the European continent, like the continent of Europe, like they're separate." And I was like, "Yeah, Mom, yeah, but there's a tunnel under the sea that connects England to Europe, right? You know that, and you can even drive through it." Clotilde was like, "Oh, okay, didn't know that. Is that new or something?" And I was like, "Mom, that's been there for a long time." After that, they took a taxi. A ride later, they were at the station, at the train station. And here's the crazy part. They caught the second to last train of the day. So they almost missed the train, but they didn't. They arrived on time for the second to last. It wasn't the last, but it was the second to last, and sometimes it's better to have some time, just for situations that you may not be able to control and just if you need to improvise and stuff like that. And this is gonna be very important. Thankfully, they took the second to last train of the day and not the last one. So they were just in time. They sat down, and that's when Clotilde saw someone familiar. And she said, like, she looked at this person and she was like, "Oh, hello? what are you doing here? Before the person could answer to her, Anna just almost yelled, surprise! And now the person said, yeah, it was your daughter's idea. And this person was Claudio, who was Clotilde's boyfriend. He wasn't Anna's father, but he was Clotilde's boyfriend, almost fiancé, maybe. He said this like, oh yeah, it was Anna's idea, as he was sitting behind them. Anna was like, yeah, mom, no Paris without a little romance. And she was kind of teasing them. They were all, in general, very happy. The train took off. As it was rocking gently, well, most passengers started to fall asleep. Almost all the passengers. But then Anna woke up and she felt that something was wrong. Remember when the first time that the person that woke up was Clotilde and she was like, oh, something's wrong? They were late. Now Anna woke up and something's wrong. And what is it? The train wasn't underground. It wasn't even like going through cities or a landscape or land, nothing. The train was literally on tracks that were suspended over the sea. And the doors were wide open. So Anna was like, okay, what is going on? Then Clotilde woke up and she was like, didn't you say this was supposed to be a tunnel? And Anna was nervous and she was like, yeah, but maybe there's a new route. I don't know. Like, she was trying to guess what was going on. And then they saw it. They saw an island. Like, the train was approaching an island. But it was so weird because the train was going on, basically literally on the sea. Suddenly they saw this island, but it wasn't just an island. It was like a perfect cube of concrete with a single house and a huge rock beside it. And as they approached this island, seawater began to flow into the train because remember that the train had its doors open. So people stood up and they were like, yeah, this is normal, this is whatever. And I was so confused. She was like, what is going on? And yeah, the people just stood up. They just calmly started to pull their bags from the overhead racks as if it was normal. Just, I'm telling you, like, they was like, okay, yeah, we just arrived to our destination where the people that had to get off in that island. So it was so weird. And I was like, okay, this must be a new road. And Clotilde and Claudio stood too. They were like, okay, we're going out. And Anna was like, wait, what is going on? And then Clotilde was like, we're just going to step off for a moment. And Anna was like, no, what? And Clotilde, again, she was like, I need to go to the bathroom. And I want to go to a bathroom that doesn't move. She said this, and I was about to say, Mom, the train has bathrooms. And then she said, we'll be quick. Don't worry, we'll be quick. They were not quick. Actually, they were still in the bathroom when the train started moving again. And Anna rushed out after them. She was like, Mom, what the hell? Now it was too late because the train was already almost gone, almost completely gone. And the three of them were stuck on that island. And again, their luggage was in the train. So, perfect. Again, they are now stranded in the middle of nowhere in a very weird island. And they don't know anyone. They don't know what the hell is this place. They're so confused. And Anna was very annoyed. Actually, from that island, she was able to see the tracks bending. It was very like fantastical almost. And I was like, okay, this cannot be real because she saw the tracks of the train, like the tracks, and she saw that they were like bending and almost swaying with the waves, with the ocean. And she was like, okay, this is so weird. And while she was like watching the tracks and she was like trying to analyze the situation and trying to find a solution, then suddenly someone behind her say, oh, lucky you didn't miss the last train. And then she turned around, of course, because the voice of the person that said this, it was a man, but it wasn't Claudio. And of course, it wasn't Clotilde. And so Anna turned around. Then she saw, sitting on the edge of the concrete, was a man with gray hair, tan skin, no shirt, just white shorts with red stripes. And then the man stood up and he was like, oh, hello, my name is Oblidio. I'm the only one who lives here. And Clotilde leaned against a big rock that she found. She was just looking resigned. She was like, okay, just wait for the last train that this old man said. And Claudio, it was weird because Claudio was playing with a boy and Anna didn't recognize that boy. Anna was like, where the hell did this boy come from? Didn't this man just say he was the only one here? This kid didn't come with us. Or did he? Did he maybe also left the train? Probably his mom is on the train. And I was so confused. And then Oblidio say again like, oh, the last train will be here soon, so don't worry. And Anna was like, okay, okay. Then she turned around because she wanted to speak to Claudio, and Claudio was gone. And instead of Claudio, it was her father, smiling and playing with the same boy. And then the father was like, hey, Anna, look, I think this is where the rainbow begins. And there it was, because Anna, of course, she looked at the direction that her father was pointing at. And there it was, a waterfall of pure color. It was spilling into the sea and rising again in an endless arc toward the horizon. And then Oblidio was like, oh, yeah, this island is where the rainbow is born. The second to last train stops and the last train starts. Anna was like, great. She's probably most of the reason of this tale. The only one that is like, this whole situation is weird. Everyone else was like living the fantasy and they were just going with the flow of the situation, except for Anna. She all the time she was like thinking that everything was weird and out of ordinary. So she was kind of concerned. And then she looked at the boy, and the boy was running towards the cascade, and he called Anna when he arrived there. He was like, Anna, come here, look. Anna went there to see, and the colors, when she paid more attention from a closer distance, she saw that the colors weren't light. They were like alive. They were thick and shimmering, And she stepped closer when she even tried to touch what she saw, because it was something so unreal. And just like that, the fear, the anger, the confusion, the rush to leave, it all disappeared. Everything. She just was trying to feel the colors, the sensation, and she forgot. She forgot everything. She forgot that the boy was her cousin. She didn't remember before. She never remembered that. She just started forgetting stuff. She forgot that he was her cousin who was gone for years. That boy had died in the past. She forgot that her father, who before was Claudio and then turned into her father, he had vanished from her life. Like he one day disappeared and now he's back again, and instead of Claudio, who is her mom's boyfriend. So yeah, she also forgot that. She forgot the confusion. She forgot that she was desperate to leave that place. She forgot exactly that she was waiting for a train. On that strange island in the middle of the sea, time didn't matter. Nothing mattered anymore. And the last train could wait because Anna she didn't care. Whoa, okay, so yeah, that was the story for today. I hope you like it. It was a little confusing, I know. Please leave your comments if you understand, if you didn't understand, what you think it was about, and let me know. I promise next stories are gonna be a little bit more better structure. This is a tale that I wrote a long time ago, then it was from a dream that I had, so yeah, dreams are very confusing sometimes, so I try to give them some sort of sense, and this is what it got to be. But yeah, I'm gonna improve in this. Please stay tuned because probably on Thursday I'm gonna upload a new video for my other series, which is called The Story Behind the Story, and in there I talk about the stories that inspired, or the process that it took people, authors, and creators to do their job, their work. So I'm gonna be telling these stories. Those videos are kind of have more like a documentary style. Not really, but they're more like kind of like that because I'm talking about real life stories. So please stay tuned. I hope you like it. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye bye.